Copper Basin 300 is going on right now in Glen Allen, Alaska. One of the most beautiful areas, I think, in Alaska is that area when you leave Anchorage, climb up over the mountains past Sutton, and are headed towards Canada, towards the interior, and you get into those colder temperatures, and you see the mountains covered with the snow and the tundra, and the wilderness of Alaska. You leave that city behind, and the politics and the pettiness of the city of Anchorage, which is what we see so much with any sort of a newspaper presence and the coverage and the social media activity of those reporters in Anchorage. But the Copper Basin, I think, is really known as a great training race. You know what I mean? Not necessarily the highest purse each year, but it's a race where you see some of those cold temperatures. You see some tough trail conditions. Usually, it's not necessarily, there's a couple legs of the race where it's basically they put the trail in specifically for the race, so it isn't really it's not really a hard packed trail. And some deep snow, some wallowing. There's some reports of quite a few teams pulling out almost every year due to some injuries and just underpreparedness for that type of conditions. And the fact that the Mushers are there, using it as a training race, seeing some new trails, seeing some other dog teams out there, and exposing the dog to some of the type of conditions that they'll see when they go over the Alaska Range in the Iditarod Trail Sled Dog Race, or even in the Quest, when they go over some of those summits in the mountains, the Quest that they used to have. So, this year, I don't really know. I would love for someone to fill me in on what's going on, because I glanced at their Facebook page as well as, the website. I haven't even looked at the website, but, it sounded like that there's a couple of teams that were neck and neck, and there was not a clear team that was dominating the race in the field yet at this point and was in the lead. So a lot of people to fill me in, but it's one of those races. I think it's good. It's one of the races. If I was going to go back and be a musher again, it's a good early season test. But then it's like, do you have the dogs peaking too early if you excel at that race and races like that for Iditarod? Do you really want the dogs to have that threshold of training at that point? Is it too early? Is it too much too early in the year for your dog team to be, excelling at that race at this point in January, or is that the perfect time? You don't want to be too late either.